Hey guys, how are you doing? It is T110e3 or TheFrXion here, however you want to call me, and today with another What to Expect. Yesterday I uploaded the video, the upload schedule that I told you for this month up until July, and I said that I would be continuing this series, what to expect, and I covered the E4 about 1 week ago or one and a half, and I think personally I did not do that great of a job. It was more like it was not on the point. I was talking around a lot of gibberish, and I want to do it a little bit better on the E3 now. And yeah, well, the E3 and the E4, well, both are tank destroyers. As already said, I'm done with the tier 10 heavy tanks, what to expect videos, because I don't own any of the tier 10 heavy tanks, and I can't give you a what to expect if I haven't tried those tier 10s. As already said, the next tier 10 heavy tanks will be probably the 57 or the IS-4 or the Moss, the mouse. I'm gonna pronounce them like they are supposed to be pronounced in German, since I can't speak German. I'm just gonna pronounce them like how they are supposed to be pronounced. Maus, Waffenträger, and I can do that also. I try to stay off my English or American way of saying those names. So what do we have here today? This is the E3. How to get this? How do you get this tank? First of all, well, it's an American heavy tank destroyer. I can say it's a heavy tank destroyer, and you can reach this tank on one way directly. Of course, it's on the TD line, T18 to the T82, which is a very fun. Those are very fun small tank destroyers. This tank is really for that tier. It has amazing armor. Then to the T40, which I did not enjoy that much. The Wolverine, a very nice tank in my opinion. Jackson worked really good, but the only thing is that just the Hellcat is that much better, so that Jackson kind of loses its glory. The T25AT, I really had a good time with that tank. I'm not sure it's everybody's business. T28 and the T95 are pretty much the T28 and the T95 are pretty much the tanks that are either hated or loved by. I really enjoyed the T28 and the T95, even though the armor on the T28 is not really what it is supposed to be. It says 254 millimeters up front, but since you get into tier 10 matches, everybody pens your frontal armor, which is a pain in the ass. But still, it's in my opinion a very consistent tank with the damage. If you get in a tier 8, you are pretty much really well armored, and it is a lot of fun sometimes, but not always. The T28 is a lot more troll on the armor. The third armor is really bad, but still a lot of people just shoot the lower plate, and most of the time it bounces. So T28, something different. So the T95, this is pretty much you either love this tank or you hate it. One of the things why so many people hate this tank, absolutely hate this tank, is because of its slow speed, its huge size, and it's screaming, Audi, shoot me, please. And I can totally understand that. Before they nerfed artillery, which I think they should nerf again because Audi is freaking OP once again, um, the T95 was even worse. It was really like every T95, T92 would be aiming at T95s, and they would be the first tanks to go. So I can totally understand the frustration behind this tank, but in my opinion, this is pretty much one of the most trolled tanks with the frontal armor. Of course, the cupola and very skilled players will shoot the lower plate, but still, this tank is such a beast. The gun is amazing. The frontal armor is amazing. Rate of fire is pretty damn good if you ask me. But still, I had quite a lot of fun with this tank. A lot of people don't enjoy it. I enjoy it. And now to the T110e3. Well, what can you say? I can draw the direct comparison to the E4. So the text is pretty much the exactly same. Copy paste wargaming, very lazy. What's the main difference between these tanks? Well, the main difference is obviously that there is no turret on the E3, and that the armor on the E3 is a lot better than on the E4. Um, but one of the main plus sides of the E4 is, of course, that there is a turret, but still the turret is not 360 degrees turnable, it's only 180 degrees turnable. So let's get back to the E3. As you can see, the E3 or the entire T110 line is rather small, since they should fit all through the burn passes, the Alpines, the Swiss Alpines, I'm not sure, and so they had to be rather small because they are rather small tunnels and small roads on the mountainside. So the hit point on this tank is 2050. 2050 does not strike you as very much if you ask me directly. Of course, it's a tank destroyer, so you don't roll with about 2500 HP. And I think 2050 is enough for this tank. It has 50 more HP than the E4. The weight load limit is 78 tons maximum. Um, that's about 8 tons more than the no, it's about 9 tons more than the E4. This does not actually really that's not a big difference actually. You don't need those 78 tons in my opinion. So the engine power is 875, the exact same like the E4. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. I had to yawn. And the difference is only that the speed limit is different. So this tank is 25 kilometers per hour, uh, kilometers per hour, yeah. And if you compare that to the T95 with 13 kilometers per hour, it's a huge difference. It's like a whole 11 kmh more. Of course, the E4 is fast because it's lighter, and the traverse speed is also better on the E4 than on the E3 with 26. The hull armor is 305 millimeters up front, 76 on the side, and 38 on the rear. So pretty much it's the exact same like the E4, E5 on the rear and on the sides, but up front, this tank is one of the hardest tanks to pen in the game. Um, the thing is, the lower plate right here is not the exact same lower plate as on the E4. I have no clue. I think this lower plate here is a lot tougher because it bounces so much shit. Even if you hit the lower plate, there is not a it's not a guarantee pen. And now the troll of this tank is that this commander's hatch up here, which is on the E5 too, a little bit different of course, and on the E4, does not count, pretty much does not count as a hitbox. You bounce off everything on this thing, and here you pen, and on the E5 you also pen that commander's hatch, and it's pretty much you cannot pen this tank anywhere up front, up here. Even though it's almost a 90 degrees angle here, you cannot go through here. Gunman, but even if you're firing gold, a very hard time. But you can pen this here. It is rather hard to be able to pen this because you don't want to go out and get shot by this tank with the 750 alpha damage with this gun. And yeah, so it's pretty well armored, let's put it like this. But still, if artillery hits you on the rear right here, you can pen it with HE, game over. Don't get flanked. Don't get flanked in this tank. So, the standard shell, we can just take the gun here. The gun is the exact same as the E4. Let's put that real fast over here. So the gun is the exact same as on the E4. Very reliable gun, very accurate in my opinion. 155 millimeter in caliber, 3.53 rate of fire, which is actually faster than the E4. About more you fire about 5 rounds more per minute. The average penetration is exactly the same, 295 with AP, 375 with APCR, and 90 with high explosive ammo, heat ammo, no, high explosive ammo. 295 you get through any tank pretty much. 375 you only need a very big weak spots. You can even pen the E100 cheek with the 295 millimeters of pen if he's facing you. So that will come in very handy. The one problem that could come with this high pen is that people just get careless and just shoot anywhere on the tank, and they will sometimes bounce because there are just some parts of armor that you cannot pen even with 295 millimeters, and that can cost you the game if you can't get the last shot, the very important shot in, and they capture because of that. And yeah, so the average damage is 750, and it varies up to 1000, but you can get hits for 500 something. I got hit for I got hits for 570 damage, and that's a really low roll. Dispersion at 100 meters is 0.36, which is the exact same as the E4. I think the less the better. So dispersion is point 0.01 worse than the E5, sorry. The aiming time is 2.5 seconds. Of course, the E5 with only 2 seconds is zero point 0.5 seconds faster, but still, this is faster than the IS-7 with 2.9, I think. 2.9. Yeah, no, that's the wrong thing here. No, it's even worse. The aiming time on the IS-7 is 3.4. So this is pretty crazy if you ask me. A tank destroyer that has better aiming time than a heavy tank. Whew. So if you have vents and gun lane drive, you will be able to dominate your enemies. So the weight load limit is not really important. You fire AP, APCR, and high explosive ammo. Standard pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much all to the gun. It's very reliable, and I would not trade this gun for anything on this tank. So the gun traverse speed is 26, and of course you have a limited gun arc on this tank, and the gun arc is rather small. I can show you that in game afterwards. It's of course not like the E4 with the turret, or any other tank destroyer. But at least it's not as limited as the 268, where it's really small, the gun arc. But it's still rather small in comparison to other tank destroyers. But it's not the smallest gun arc. So view range is pretty much the standard 400 meters for any tier 10. 745 signal range is pretty much the standard, and that's pretty much all to this tank. Now what do I have on this tank? So I put on gun rammer because I want to be able to put out as many shots as possible and in a limited amount of time. Then vents because I want to have a top train crew in here. Then I put on toolbox to repair 25% faster repair speed because this tank does not have any turret. You don't want to get tracked in this tank. If you get tracked, of course you have the small repair kit. I even once tried to play with a large repair kit and a small repair kit, but it did not work out, and it was more of a waste of credits than actually helping me. And I put that on because I don't want to get perma-tracked. Of course, that's going to happen quite a lot. If you get perma-tracked in this tank, it's pretty much GG, especially if you're on your own. And maybe I get into a situation where I can show you how to get out of it, out of a perma-track, and turn the situation in your favor. Probably I won't. So, of course, you could also put on a super heavy spall liner that will protect you from any explosive or ballistic explosion, whatever. And I did not put that on because I think the armor is pretty damn good on this tank. And if you face auto, you just have to be very careful with this tank. of course, since it's one of the high priority tanks on the field. So that's pretty much how I play this, how I equip this tank. I load much more AP than APCR. Of course, I have 5 rounds of APCR just in case if I need them. Otherwise, you actually don't really need APCR rounds. High explosive ammo, 5 rounds. If you have to reset cap, they're the most efficient one for resetting cap because you're gonna pen and it's just gonna do some damage on him, but it's already enough. You don't really need to aim for the tracks or weak spots, and if you only have like a limited amount of time, like 3 seconds, you can just fire directly at the tank. So that's pretty much all the statistics and the theoretical part of this tank. Now let's get to the practical part. Let's get into battles. So I will see you guys in a minute when I get into a battle. So we're back, and today I only got one E3, and I think this gameplay just pretty much sums up the entire power of this tank pretty nicely. And I actually got this game immediately after I finished the first part of the video. I jumped into a game, and this was the first game I got in, and it was a pretty damn successful game in my opinion. And I think you will see what I'm talking about just here in a second. So first of all, you need to know that I am not the conventional World of Tanks player. I'm more of the unconventional type. I like to do stuff that is most of the time retarded, stupid, and should not be done, but that also has sometimes a very nice surprise factor to the enemy, so that I get the advantage and the jump on them. If you look at an E3, you don't expect this tank to be aggressive rushing, and this is exactly what I did. I just thought you can do anything in this tank. You can, since the armor is so great, you can push, you can just sit in a bush, and the gun is great. And I just thought, why not play it a little bit different today and switch it up a little bit. And it shows that this tank is really one of those tanks that is really good to adjust to situations. The one thing I'm going to pause real fast is that the speed that you did not have in the T95, as you can see here, very good example of T95 getting pushed by an artillery piece. That is the speed that you have, and I moved back on reverse there. I have no clue what I was trying to do. I was actually trying to hit the guy at H6 because I had a shot, but he was out of my view range, so in the end I tried to decide against it. So now I put out in chat, I told my team I will play very offensive with this tank today in this match. And I will try to push the enemy as far back as possible, and you will see if this is going to work or not. So pretty much the E3, 20, 22, 23 kilometers per hour is not the best speed that you have in a tank, but still it is rather good in comparison to the T95. Of course, it's not as fast as 268, but the difference is you have the armor that a 268 does not have. So what I'm trying to do right here is I see that there are 2 T95 pushing IS-8, 2 IS-8s are on our side, and I thought, why not? I could push these guys and stay hold down, and they cannot do shit to me. So this is pretty much my first thought. So I see IS-7, a very skilled player on our team, and he was here waiting for the T95. He had a very good spot and was angling his armor pretty damn good, so the T95 could not hit him. So you see our first victim at T95, and I just stopped it real fast. Don't worry, it's not the recording. I stopped it real fast to show you that this gun has a 2.5 second aiming time, and I aimed faster than a IS-7. You can see the IS-7 shot, tracked him, and do I hit the core? I hit the core, 807 damage. And that was pretty much a very accurate shot, if you ask me. And the T95, another T95 comes up, he's showing his weak spot, his lower plate, and the IS-7 sees a chance and takes him out. And I try to be sneaky or cheeky once again, and I put in another one, and you can see the T95 try to pen our cupola up there, but even though he had a very bad shot on the cupola, he still bounced. So even if he would have hit, that would be a no damage shot. So I loaded HE because I thought I would have to take out the other T95, but the IS-7 took him out, so I loaded HE for the IS-3, IS-8, and you can see I just missed the IS-8. And now you can see I'm pushing up, since I said I'm going to be playing very aggressive, and the reload time on this tank is pretty damn good if you have all the equipment, and just look at this clutch, take out the ISA, did another 626 damage. I'm already at 2,135 damage in 3 shots. So the one thing is that these guys did not expect the E3 to be so aggressive, and this is the nice thing about this tank. You can either use it as an aggressive pusher because of the armor, or you can just sit back and snipe, and you still have the armor factor since the armor is so good. The only problem that you will have to encounter is definitely artillery. So right here, I try to get the Centurion because I don't want to get flanked, but I also know that I have to engage the enemies at F7, F8 to support my team. So I get behind this rock. This is actually a very nice spot, and I can only recommend it to you guys. And you can see now, clutch, perfect hit, 736 damage. It was below standard roll, so that's rather sad. So maybe it was just RNG on my side, but I think it's just this gun is pretty damn accurate. You can see a 57 is rushing by. I get the perfect luck RNG on my side working with me. Clutch, hit the 57, put him on fire, and pretty much that guy is done. Then there's a IS-7, and I think I am not able. This was the first shot that I actually completely miss, and where RNG is not on my side. You can see I'm trying to get this shot on his angled armored area. It would have been a very hard shot to hit anyway, and it was a pretty low roll anyway. Not low roll, but it flew pretty damn low. So you can see Jackzilla sitting at their base. I could not take him out. Could not hit him. Sorry, just stop the recording. And I was just waiting because I was thinking there would be definitely an object 704 sitting somewhere over there, and I just took my time, sat there, waited, playing patiently. One of the things you have to learn for this game, you have to be patient, really, for any game, Counter-Strike 2, and you can see I'm still waiting, kind of losing my patience right here. I want to push, but I know that pushing could be a very bad thing, since we do have the 2-man advantage, but still a lot of our guys are pretty damn hard hit. As you can see right here, I was checking how much HP my team was having, and the other T57 actually got 5 kills, which is rather impressive. So I put in a shot on the 704, 773 damage, and not a very high roll, but still it was a very nice shot on its side, and it just shows you that this is a very reliable gun most of the time. And this is one of the most important aspects, I think, on any tank destroyer, because you want to destroy tanks, you want to be able to take them out rather fast and hit them hard, and with this gun you are able to do that. So you can see some people will call this reckless playing. I call it being Tiger Tank, and I try to get a clutch shot into that object's 430. 140 and 140, oh my god. And it did not really work out in my favor, and I was just spotted there, but the 704 did not take a shot at me, which I was actually very lucky for. Our Waffenträger is getting hit by the enemy Waffenträger, and I'm just waiting here for the object 140 to put some shots into him, and I see that the 704 takes out the other 704, and I decide against it because I see the Waffenträger, which is a high priority target right here. He takes a hit for 706 damage from me, and he's almost dead, and the IS-7 takes him out. And now I had to be very careful because I knew that Artie was facing at me, and you can hear it in about a second. The shot is gonna come down, and that was Artie. That was Artie. Artie missed me luckily, and there's Jag Tiger and the Object 140. Now this is one of the things. I was afraid this Object 140 is going to play very smart, just wait and spot for Artie, since you will see where the Artie is in the end. And luckily for me, this Object 140 player was not very clever. I had loaded a HE shot. I have no clue why I did that. Probably for the Waffen trigger. Put it in him, track him, 389 damage, and I did not expect this guy to be pushing out. I was thinking this guy would be just sitting there, but it makes sense because he had IS-7 behind him. So yeah, so he pushes. I take another shot, hit him for 753, and he's pretty much toast. Luckily for me, Audi takes him out. He bounces heat shell, and I got this nice spot now. 6,312 damage done. Not one single damage taken. So you can see, put in another shot in the Jag Tiger. A low roll once again, but still very, very, very satisfying to see how I hit almost every shot. And I'm at 7,000 damage now. So yeah, 7,000, and I'm still going. The one thing now is that I was expecting the artillery player to be at K1 or K2, so he would have a perfect shot on me. But that will turn out to be true. You can see the Object 704 just tracks me, and unfortunately I track him too. That would have been a one shot. He has 614 HP left. It would have been a one shot, and I push up, and I think he's gonna shoot one more time, and he bounces. So pretty nice to see how the armor works in this tank and how reliable it is. And especially the cupola. The cupola is not such a bastard like on the E5 or E4. So I'm waiting here for the IS-7 to push, but I see that the IS-7 cannot push on his own. So I push. The Object 704 gets lit because he fires, and I take the shot. He's a goner. 7,646 damage done. And no damage taken, only tracks hit, and I was telling the IS-7 to wait. So you can see, I'm gonna pause it real fast. A lot of pausing actually today. The artillery was at J8 or K8, and that was actually a really bad spot for that guy to be in. If he would have been at base, he could have actually hit me the entire time, and that would have been beneficial for his team. So you can see Jag Tiger, and you can just see this armor, man. Look at this armor. He bounces my lower plate. I just take him out. And in the end, I did almost 8,000 damage. And GG played very aggressively and even had some chances to be sitting in a bush. So I will come to the results screen now, and I'll see you guys there. So pretty much this does everything about the tank. Yeah. You see, this was a victory. 53,000 credits, 3,285 experience. Of course, it was 3 times this time. My damage count was 8,000 about. Hit percentage was 76%, which is actually pretty high if you compare it with the caliber. I mean, it's pretty damn accurate. I could have done better, of course. Could have missed less shots, but you can see the sheer power. I did more damage than the other guys here, and I received 7 hits. 2 of them penetrated, 5 were non-penetrating shots. Damage blocked by my armor was 3,370, and it just shows you the immense power of this tank. And I'm not sure, but I don't think I have to say any more than this tank is amazing. You have the agility that the T95 was missing. You don't have these huge weak spots that the T95 has. As you could see in the video, I was pounding away on that commander's hatch. The T95 had no chance because the gun was pretty damn accurate. And you can't bend that cupola up there. It's like almost impossible. So pretty much all I can say to this tank, it's almost invincible, except for this big guy here. If this fella shoots you, well, it's pretty much game over for you because it's either gonna kill all your crew or it's gonna destroy so much shit that you're just gonna rage quit. So of course that's a little bit over exaggerated, but still Audi is your biggest enemy, and medium tanks are trying to flank you. That is also one of the big things. And all I can say, this tank is my favorite tank destroyer ever, from all the tank destroyers I played. I like it more than the E4. A lot of people like the E4 more because of the turret, but still I like this tank more because of the armor. And you could see I am not one of the best players, but I like to play like a freaking. Actually, I play like a retard. I play so aggressive with this tank, and all I can say, it is so it's unexpected that suddenly a E4, E3 is pushing the entire front. But you could see that I got them by surprise, and I really did a lot of damage. So all I can say is this tank is goddamn powerful, and I'm not sure, but I think maybe there's a need for a nerf. But yeah, that's not for me to decide. I hope you guys enjoyed this what to expect. I hope I make this a little bit more on the point, not talking gibberish and around the topic. And I hope you guys tune in for more. I will upload tomorrow or on Tuesday. Tuesday, that's 2 days, yeah. Um, some Star Wars Battlefront, some thoughts about the E3 entirely, the presentation. I will focus a lot on EA and Sony because I own a Sony system, PlayStation 3, which is not it's the current gen, not the next gen. But still, Microsoft. I'm not one of those guys that is like stabbing at Microsoft just because I own like another console. I found the presentation of Microsoft great too, and maybe I will even feature a little bit of it. I mean, I'm not gonna put any videos onto my channel, but I will just talk a little bit about it. And Nintendo was also very interesting, and yeah. If you guys are interested, tune in tomorrow or on Tuesday, and I will upload that. So this was pretty much what to expect for this week. Maybe next week or in 2 weeks I will have the next what to expect. I'm already done with the tank destroyers, what to expect, because I only own 2 tier 10 tank destroyers. And I think I will move over to the artillery, even though I cannot compare that tank. No, you know what? I'm not sure if I'm gonna do artillery at all. Maybe I'm gonna keep it for the last because I don't really like to play arty because it's such a scumbag tank to play. So I think I'm gonna feature medium tanks, and I'm going to start with the M48 Patton or E50M or Batchat. I'm not sure. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Peace out.